Going to a Cox Plate when there's like a mega star horse, the noise as the horse is round the final bend, it's almost like the crowd picks up the wave of the horses, and there's nothing like it.
Jimmy Bartel is a man who needs no introduction. You're a man of many talents and interests, horse racing being one of them, and I believe you used to own a racehorse.
I did. It was no good though, Elly. It started favourite 3 times and never actually got to the other side of the barrier where all the fun happened. So it got to the back of the barriers, it got scratched once there, got scratched the next time, thought 3rd time lucky, and one of the barrier attendants went to throw a towel for the jockey to wipe his face with a bit of sweat, landed on the horse's eyes.
No.
Threw the jockey, scratched again, never made it.
Joking.
Never made it to the racetrack.
Oh my God. Well, I'm happy that you're still loving horse racing, and we'll get back to that a little bit later. But we are coming off a huge win by Geelong, a great grand final. What's it like for you sitting back and getting to watch those games now?
Bit of a proud big brother moment, if you want to put it in a sense. Look, I know what it's like down in Geelong, that the footy club's so intertwined with the community, so I think they'll be partying for quite some time down there.
And now you're doing a lot of commentary with 7, 3AW, work on RSN, GWS. God, really, the list goes on. What's sort of the most challenging role you're doing at the moment? I should add fatherhood to that.
Yeah,
should I add that in?
That is the most challenging. I got 2 little boys, and they're like puppies. If you don't run them around, they start eating your shoes at the front door. But out of those things you mentioned, probably the stuff I do with the Giants, where you've got a bit of control and trying to help shape the way they're going. I think that's probably the toughest gig at the moment.
Where did your love of horse racing start?
I remember being in the backyard, and it sounded like my sons, you're out playing in the backyard, Mum's doing some gardening, and the radio was always on. Mum would go each Saturday, she'd ask us for a few numbers, and we'd put together, the straight 6, and we'd listen to it all day, or she'd put it as an all-up bet. She'd only put a couple of dollars on. It was almost like playing the lotto for her.
Yeah.
And it was just background noise. And then when I got to about 18, 19, going to the Cox Plate, and you're seeing Sunline and Northerly, some of the greatest horses we've ever seen, duel it out there. I think you really appreciate the sport for what it is.
Sunline the leader, Northerly on the outside, and Viscount coming at her. Sunline in front, Northerly the outside, going to Sunline. They got very tight, but Northerly wins the Cox Plate.
Is that what you love most about racing?
I think it's the atmosphere, and then it's always this little element of the unknown. But even when Winks was fronting up for being $1.01 almost, we go, is this the day? Is this? And you sort of have this nervous tension, and when you're at the track, you can feel it. There's a massive amount of energy at racetracks, at big meets. Like, I've been there in the build-up for when Winks, there's just nothing like it. And the noise, and then as the horses round the final bend, it's almost like the crowd picks up the wave of the horses, and there's nothing like it.
Cometh the hour, cometh the legend. Greatness, Winks has done it.
How do you go on the punt?
No good. I openly admit it. I think
It's tough.
It's tough.
All right, well, big-time player. We want a big-time bet. What have you got for us maybe moving into the Melbourne Cup Carnival?
You just look at the ones that have actually come to the Melbourne Cup before. We see a lot of repeat performances where horses have finished in the top 5. They tend to back up really well. I tend to look at horses who run the distance in places like France. It seems to be really hard going over there, and tough, gritty horses.
Well, thank you for talking to us today, and best of luck for the spring.
Cheers.